unable to pay the bill. The scheming husband was instantly terrified. Seeing the police about to arrest him, he immediately shouted at the restaurant manager, demanding an explanation for lying. "I clearly swiped my gold card. Why is there no money on it?" It turned out that just a moment ago, relying on the favor of his CEO wife, the scheming husband had brought his first love and her son to dinner at the restaurant. The three of them looked so happy and harmonious, just like a real family. Only after they finished eating did he remember his wife. And he didn't just hand her the leftovers, but even told her to foot the bill. He had thought that his CEO wife would pay for his willfulness as she always had in the past, but little did he know that she had already been reborn. Looking back at her previous life, the CEO wife had given everything she had unreservedly to this scheming husband. Yet, while she was undergoing a minor surgery, the scheming husband bribed the doctors and had her heart transplanted to his first love. This directly led to the CEO wife's death filled with resentment. Reborn in this life, the CEO wife had already frozen the scheming husband's bank cards and firmly refused to pay for him. It was precisely because of this that the embarrassing situation of the scheming husband being unable to pay the high bill arose. Seeing himself humiliated in front of everyone, the scheming husband immediately shouted at the CEO wife, calling her petty for getting angry just because he had dinner with his first love. As soon as he said this, everyone realized that the husband was spending money on another woman, using his CEO wife's bank card. Instantly, everyone looked down on him. As the manager urged him to pay again and again, the scheming husband directly threw the key to his $20 million luxury car at the manager. At the same time, the scheming woman, his first love, took the opportunity to mock the CEO wife, claiming that a woman who didn't spend money on her man was not a good woman. The scheming husband also joined in, shouting angrily at the CEO wife, "It's your honor that I let you spend money on me," before the CEO wife could speak. The other customers around could no longer stand by and began to complain about the scheming husband's ingratitude. It wasn't until the manager urged him to pay again that the scheming husband finally learned that his $20 million luxury car had just been reclaimed by the CEO wife. Now he was completely penniless and could no longer afford to pay. Having exhausted all his tricks, he actually said to the CEO wife, "I'll let you kiss me, and you pay the bill right away." The CEO wife thought back to how weak and bullied she had been in her previous life, and suddenly found it ridiculous. She immediately refused the scheming husband. But the next moment, the scheming husband directly called his aunt, who worked as a nanny for their family, and told her to fetch the $20 million vase from their home. This instantly made the CEO wife furious, because that vase was the only relic left to her by her deceased father. However, the scheming husband and the others didn't care about the CEO wife's feelings at all. Instead, they mocked her even more harshly, saying, "It's just a vase, after all." Seeing this, the CEO wife immediately chose to call the police. But what no one expected was that the first love son directly smashed the vase on the ground. He even mocked the CEO wife for being a bad woman and made a face at her. Faced with their such arrogant behavior, the CEO wife suppressed her anger and chose to wait for the police to arrive and handle the matter. When the police arrived, the angry CEO wife immediately took out the receipt for the vase and demanded that the police arrest her aunt. But the scheming husband thought the CEO wife was just joking. He even said casually, "I'll allow you to wash my feet tonight, and you forgive my aunt right away." But the CEO wife was no longer the doormat who could be bullied at will in the past. The next second, the police directly took the aunt away. As for the scheming husband, he was still arrogant even though he couldn't pay the bill. In the end, he was knocked to the ground by the restaurant manager. Only the CEO wife knew in her heart that her counterattack against the scheming husband had only just begun. As for the scheming husband, fortunately, his parents used the savings they had exploited from the CEO wife in the past to bail him out of the restaurant. However, the $10 million restaurant bill, plus the $20 million compensation for the antique vase, had already exhausted all their savings. They even had to mortgage all the houses and cars in their family, while the three of them were still dreaming, planning how to continue exploiting money from the CEO wife. She had already packaged and transferred the technology company she had once given to the scheming husband to a gang leader. This move made the gang leader overjoyed. He asked the CEO wife in confusion why she was doing this. The CEO wife explained to him that there were a few pests hiding in the company, recalling her previous life, when many of the scheming husband's relatives ran amok in the company and even physically assaulted her. The CEO wife immediately said she could offer a discount, but the gang leader smiled and refused. "The price you gave me is already very low. I've never met anyone who's a trouble. Today, I'll help you vent your anger." When several of the scheming husband's relatives saw the CEO wife in the company, they immediately provoked her. "A woman like you should stay at home and clean. Do you want to get beaten again?" But the CEO wife announced that she had transferred the company to the man beside her. This instantly made the relatives furious, and they prepared to attack the two of them.